No worries, it's okay.
Hello, hello. I'm just doing my videoing. I'm on to the lady from America.
I've got the gear, but not the clue. Learning from the best, what else is new? Swatching shades and spilling tea. Polish up's the place to be. Interviews and skills to show. Watch me learn and watch me grow. From rookie nails to rainbow art. Polish ups were pros impart. Sip that brew, let's spill some tea. Nail by nail, come grow with me. Fails or wins, it's still a glow up. You're watching Polish Up.
So welcome back to Polish Up. I'm really, really excited because I've got the wonderful Miss T joining me today from Nails by Miss T. She was one of the ladies that I was following before I started Nail Crusade. So this is like a bit starstruck for me. So it's really, really lovely to welcome you. So thanks for joining me.
Thank you. I'm very excited and super happy that, you decided to include me in this. It's such a this is such a creative take on things. I don't know anyone else doing this. And when you brought the idea, I was like, that is just so cool. I just love it. It's just so cool. I just think it's such a great idea.
So for anyone who's new to your channel, who is Miss T in a nutshell?
Well, so I am a middle-aged Midwestern lady from the United States who is obsessed with nails. I've always loved nails. I started getting nails probably in my, oh my gosh, late teens, early 20s, getting acrylics and was obsessed with them and have had nails ever since. So, it was just very natural for me. I love watching YouTube videos on how people like made nails. So for me, I am somebody who just likes to have fun and try to learn new things and always try to push the envelope with my personal nails. I I just think that they're the one way I can really express myself because sometimes in this world we have to, especially, at work and things like that, you have to kind of keep it a little bit low key, but my nails are where that my personality can really shine. So that's kind of who I am.
So your channel is such a fun mix of nails and true crime. How do these two passions come together?
Gosh. Well, so I've been obsessed with true crime for a very long time. I don't know why or when I kind of became very interested in true crime, but it's been something that, I mean, I remember watching Forensic Files like 25 years ago, it feels like, when I lived back in Southern California. And it was just one of those things that I was always I found it extremely fascinating. Um, just, and for me, true crime, I can't do unsolved true crime. My brain can't handle an unsolved mystery. I need that closure. So, like Forensic Files and shows like that, where they told you how they figured out the crimes and solved the mysteries, I found fascinating. Um, so I've always been into the true crime thing, and then the nails and the true crime just sort of came together. I remember it was probably the first year when COVID was really crazy because I worked from home for a year and a half during COVID. And I saw one person's channel, and I wish I could remember her name, but she doesn't do YouTube any longer. And she was doing nails, and she would talk about true crime stories in the UK. And I found it fascinating. And somebody had made some comments to her, and she she took it very personally and like stopped doing it completely. And I was so bummed because I absolutely loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I loved watching her do nails and talk about these crimes. And so for me, it was sort of just, I wanted to let people know that I most likely would be referencing something in my channel because, you know, if I'm not watching YouTube channels about nails, I'm watching true crime on YouTube. I'm watching it on other channels. So just in talking about videos and when I'm doing nails and making them, I didn't want people to be like, why in the hell is she always talking about like murderers and things like that? You know what I mean? So I kind of wanted to give people a heads up that, hey, these are my two passions that I really like, and they're kind of going to come together. So just be warned. If that's not something you want to hear about, I'm not the person to follow.
What first sparked your love for nail art during the C word days? Was it boredom, curiosity, or something else entirely?
Gosh. So, right before we went into lockdown, I had got a brand new set of nails put on, a brand new set of beautiful acrylics, right? And I was like, and I had paid a pretty penny for them. And I'm like, okay. And they kept telling us, all right, you're going to be going back to work soon. You're going to be going back to work soon. I mean, at the beginning of it, it's like, you know, every 10 minutes, it was like, oh, it'll be a couple of weeks. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, I don't know about that. And it got to the point where my nails were like growing out. And I'm like, well, I did. And everyone's like, just take them off. And I'm like, do you have any idea how much I paid for these? I'm not just going to take them off. We might be able to go back to a nail salon in a couple of weeks. You know, that was what I was thinking. And so I jumped onto YouTube and I went onto Amazon and bought my very first acrylic kit because when I first started doing nail art and nails, I was doing acrylic strictly. I was doing acrylics on myself only. That's all I was doing, right? I know. Start out with something hard, why don't I? And so, yeah, it was just one of those things where I was like, I was determined not to lose my nails because I thought for sure we were going to be going back soon. And then I got the acrylics and I started to do them on myself and everything like that. And then it became obvious that we were not going to be going back to work very soon. And I'm like, well, okay then. And before you know it, I have my own little mini like nail salon here. And it just kind of grew, you know, I bought like that first set of acrylics and that first set of polishes, and they were just regular polishes. They weren't even like gel polish. I was like, oh, I mean, it's no big deal. I'm not going to need them very long. You know, that was my whole mindset when this first started. I'll get some things, but I'm not going to need, you know, to get a lot or anything like that because we're going to be going back to work. So I just bought some regular nail polishes. And yeah, it was just, as soon as I started getting into it and learning and playing with things, I was like, ooh, this is fun. I really like this. And just kind of from there, it just sort of morphed. And I've always been a naturally creative and artistic person. So it was just a natural progression to kind of do those kind of things with like, you know, nail products and stuff. That's why I like alcohol inks so well.
So what was your very first DIY nail attempt and how did it go?
Oh my gosh. So my very first attempt at doing anything was a fill. I did a fill on myself. So that was, it was very interesting because, you know, I'm right-handed. So the left hand did not look too bad. I will tell you that I was kind of impressed because like, I was like, this isn't going to be nearly as hard as I thought it was. Yeah, right. You know, like that first time you were like, oh, you're like, oh, this isn't that hard. Oh yeah, I was so wrong. So it was a fill and it, like I said, it did not go too bad on the left hand. The right hand, I did a lot of filing, a lot of filing. But I have to say now I'm pretty ambidextrous. So, but yeah, it was a fill and I think I found a picture of it. Gosh, I sent it to Alicia and Stacy probably about a month ago. I was like, this was my very first fill. And they were like, that's not bad. I I'm like, I was pretty
I
impressed with
think
myself.
we might need to put it up there somewhere.
I'll I'll try to find that one. And then there's another picture I'll try to find for you that is it is definitely interesting because I look at it and I'm like, those five nails don't go together in any way at all. Like they're not cohesive at all. Like I sent it to Alicia, who is really great about putting designs together, right? A cohesive design. And I sent it to her. I was like, I have no idea what the hell I was thinking. I'm like, every single solitary nail, not even close to going together. So yeah, I have a couple I'll send you. They're quite funny. But you
Brilliant.
know, we all have to grow.
We certainly do. How has your nail game changed since those early lockdown days?
Before I started YouTube, the way I thought about nails was it was kind of like a 2 week window because I wasn't using any kind of peel off base. I wasn't using, one kill. So it was like 2 weeks because I did not want to have to drill my nails off because that's the worst thing. That's the thing I hate most about nails is when you have to either soak them off or you have to use an e-file to get them off. Can't stand it. Worst thing ever. Um, so for me, it's changed like before YouTube in that I would think about my nails and I'd be like, okay, if I'm going to put this set on, because I get bored with them after about a week. I need to switch them up. So my nails were always like, how could I take this original set and that I would like for a week, and then I need to be able to change it for that next week. So I always used to think about nails in that way because I would start with like a basic design and then I'm like, what can I do then to make this design really fun for the second week so I wouldn't get bored with it? Now, the way I think about nails, honestly, is I I will see something and I'm like, I need to try that. And since I'm using peel off base and like one kill, I mean, I had to set it, the fastest I've ever taken a set of nails off is a little over 6 minutes using
Wow.
like one kill. Yeah, it's amazing using the one kill and the peel off base, right? So when you can take off a whole set of nails in 6 minutes, you're like, what do I want to try today? So my nail, it's changed in the fact that I'm always going, okay, yes, these were pretty. Now it's been 2 days. What do I want to do now? So I'm always wanting to try something new. And with me, I'm very different than some people. Like I don't do press-ons on myself. I used to make press-ons and sell them, but I do not do press-ons for myself. My nails, I put my nails on to stay on. Unlike some people who they'll do like elaborate nails and then it's for a video and then they take them off. That's not me. My nails, I don't go out public without my nails being nice. So my game is always like, how can I make them when I go to places and people go, wow, your nails look really cool. Can I take a picture? Or, that truly in the back of my head is what I'm thinking about when I'm doing nails. Cause I, the high I get off of like going through a drive-through, right? And I'm like, it's Starbucks and they give me my coffee and the girl's like, oh my God, your nails are incredible. Can I take a picture? I'm in a good mood all day then. I mean, like seriously good mood all day long. So that's kind of how it's changed for me because I get super excited about people getting excited about what I'm doing.
Do you have a signature style or something you always find yourself drawn to when designing?
I find for me, it kind of changes. So I kind of go in like, not, I wouldn't say a style, but I will get where I will be very dialed into where I like a certain style for a while. And then I'll go on and do something else. Right. So like for a whole year there, I was all about like the nude nails, like everything was a nude nail, some shade of a nudie pink. And then I would do some crazy embellishments on them. Right. I would say for me, the one thing that people, if they're talking about my nails, they always know they're long as hell. And I live with long as hell nails. I type with them. I do everything with them. I mean, these, as far as I'm concerned, are short. So for me, it's all about the long, yeah, see that? No, I could not function with that, which is the funny thing. Like I can't type if I don't have long nails because I've had them for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if anyone were to say, what is something that I think about? If you were to say something about Miss T's nails and what you think about, that she's got some long ass nails on.
Well, when I asked you what nails to prep for our tutorial, I almost didn't bother and got out extra long stilettos.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, the longer, the better for me. And it's very funny. I had a set of Russian almonds on just a couple of weeks ago. You might have seen them. They're the pink and blue Russian almonds I had. I actually had to cut those down because they were too long. And I haven't done that, and I can't tell you how long. But yeah, I like the long, long nails. And I like them to be like, for me, it's the wow factor in them now. I'm like this polish. I don't have a lot of bling or anything, but this polish is a wow polish. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh. So that's kind of like what I feel like I'm into right now.
What's been your most unexpected success or your biggest fail on camera?
Um, I would say I don't know about unexpected success on camera. I mean, just YouTube as a whole has been unexpected to me. I I say this in videos and I've said it, and I'm sure you've probably heard me say this, that when I first started this, and I just started my YouTube channel literally on January 1st of this year. I was watching so many people on YouTube and had for years. And then um, I'll be honest, after everything that happened here in the US in November, it was a very hard time for me. I am a very liberal, open person, and it was just this. I'm having a little difficulty with people who are in charge in our government, so it was very difficult for me in November, and I went down that YouTube rabbit hole. And hold on. Okay, see ya. My mom, she's heading out. So I went down that YouTube rabbit hole because I needed that solace, right? I needed something that would soothe my soul. And the videos, watching these videos, and it had changed so much because when I had first started watching YouTube, like nail videos, I was watching like Kirsty Minkin and all these people that were like really big, right? So when I would watch them, it never even entered my mind that I could ever have a channel. Never once entered my mind. So when I started watching channels again in November, I started watching people and I noticed like people who had smaller channels. And it was so exciting. They were so excited about what they were doing. So after doing that, I decided I needed to do something that pushed me out of my comfort zone because I felt like something that I do naturally is I will like to be like, oh no, I'm comfortable right here. That's okay. I don't need to, I have social anxiety. So I'm like, I'm okay here in my little house. That's fine. So I wanted to do something that pushed me out of my comfort zone. And I was like, getting on video and doing nails on video is going to push me way the hell out of my comfort zone. And it did. And so what I was surprised and the most exciting thing is how much I like it and that people like to watch it. I'm like, people like to watch my channel. It is still astonishes me when people tell me like Kim, who's from Belgium, she's like, I love watching your videos. I'm like, you're in Belgium and you're watching my little videos here from some little Midwestern lady in Illinois. And it just, to me, it just baffles the mind. I would say, I don't know that I've had like major fails on camera because I mean, with nail stuff, I feel like it's all a learning process. So if there's something I try and it doesn't work, now I've learned something how it doesn't work. How can I now make it work? You know what I mean? So I kind of approach it that way. I would say my biggest fail I've ever had camera wise was I had a real big issue with sound on one video. And it just, to this day, it still drives me crazy that the sound sounded so bad on that video. And then there was one where I left a little clip in that I thought I had cut out and I didn't. And that drives me, that just gets me. So it's more stuff of me like missing something in editing that will drive me crazy. The stuff on camera, like if I goof up on camera, if I'm on a live or something, I'm like, you know what? I am so far from perfect. It's not even funny. And I feel like that is what I like about the channels that I do follow, is that we're very real. You know, our videos are not overly produced because, let's be honest, I'm like, I don't know about you, but I don't know how to do that, you know? So for me, it's the being real part of it. That's what I find is important. So making mistakes is okay. We learn from them.
Your swatching parties are so much fun. Do you have a favorite brand or formula that you always reach for?
Uh, that's hard. So I will say, I, like many of us, are obsessed with the double rhythm and the Shay. Those are, I have, as you can see behind me, many, many Shays. And the double rhythm is a brand new obsession. They are so nice. I really, really love them. And so when everything happened with the tariffs, I went a little crazy with them. So yes, I love those two brands specifically. I have just gotten a couple of Korean brands and am like just getting into those because, you know, obviously it's a little bit more expensive. But if we're talking affordable brands, I absolutely love my number one is Shay. Honestly, it's my absolute favorite number one.
I have to be honest and say I did that comparison video between double rhythm and Sage with the pearl, and it's a pearl and a cat eye in the same
Yep, the Pearl
bottle.
Cat Eye. Yep,
Yep. And other than the packaging, I couldn't tell the difference. I really
right.
liked, I love the double rhythm packaging and it's fabulous. And I would, but if we could get them in the UK at the same price as you can get them, I would buy more double rhythm. But by the time we've paid, because I have to have them shipped from US Amazon, and by the time we've paid that, the extra shipping on that, it almost doubles the price of them.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's nice that I've got a couple of sets. I've got that set and I've got the lavender set that I haven't swatched yet. I think I was saving that. I'm saving those for when I do cat eyes with Alicia because we're both
Yes.
purple girls, aren't we? So that will go down well.
We need,
But yeah,
yeah, more purple people is all, as far as I'm concerned, the more people who love purple, the better. It's my fave.
we're just a little gang of purple people. Do you plan your nail sets around the true crime topics you're watching, or is it more of just a paint and chat vibe?
It's more of a, for me, it's a paint and chat because with the true crime, the way I like to do the true crime, if it's going to be a story that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to make sure I've obviously researched it and more than just like watched a show on it, right? So I usually have probably 6 or 7 pages of notes off screen that no one can see in quite large font. So I can just kind of glance at it. And it's just a lot of bullet points. So if I were to do that kind of thing, it's harder for me to be able to keep in the true crime story and make sure I'm not missing anything if I'm doing my nails, because I will get to the point where I'm like so involved in what I'm doing that I'll stop talking. So I try to do with the true crime. I like to do it with like more of a swatching thing or like organizing charms, that kind of thing. I do want to start to do some voiceover true crimes on my videos that I do my own nails, because a lot of times when I am doing my nails, like I said, I'm, recording, but I'm like, I'm not saying a single word because I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, So if I do the voiceovers with a true crime story, I think it'll make it a little bit more entertaining. And there's just so many of them out there. And I'm very into like true crime that it's outside the United States. So like I'm super into the UK, Australia, like anything like that. Because there's some crazy true crime stories that I'm just like that I've never heard of before. So for me, they're all brand new, you
Yeah.
know. The ones here in the US, I've heard so many of them for so many years that I know so much about them.
Ever had a crime story that really stuck with you um, while you were mid manicure?
I think for me, there's been a few that have stuck with me. I don't know that they were mid, like me telling a story or anything like that, but there's been some that really just stick with me because of, just how the outcome of them, like, Richard Speck, the story about Richard Speck is one that will always stick with me because it happened here in Chicago. So he killed 8 student nurses back in the late 60s. And my mom was at the bus stop the morning it was happening, literally outside the building as it was happening. So
Oh.
that one for me, always when I think about that one, it's like that personal thing, you know what I mean? Because it's very close, it's very local. And it was just, these women, he basically told them that oh, don't worry. I'm just here to rob you. And literally one by one just killed them. And they just were very passive. And that for me, those kind of stories, because here's my thing. If I'm ever in that situation, I'm fighting and yelling and screaming because let's be honest, 99% of the time you're not getting out of it. You know what I mean? So whoever it is, I'm going to make it harder on them. So I am not a very passive person in those kind of situations. So those kind of stories stick with me when it's the kind of one where they tell somebody, hey, do what I want and you'll be okay, full well knowing that they're not going to be okay. So those stick with me.
So if you had to name a polish shade after a true crime doc, what would it be and why?
When I saw the question, when you sent it to me, I thought about it because it's like, when I think about true crime, right? Like colors that I think that embody like that kind of a true crime thing, I think more of like darker, like very rich kind of colors, and there's a couple of TV shows. There's one called Deadly Women. And then there's one that's called Snapped, Women Who Kill, right? And I just feel like if it was a really deep, dark red, almost like that had like a black undertone, like a cat eye with a black undertone with like that, just like a blood red in it. Either Snapped or Deadly Women would honestly probably be the name that I would choose because both of those shows I just find them very interesting because, most of true crime happens towards women, not women doing it towards other people. So for me, those shows, I find them very interesting.
Sounds amazing. So we all love a good haul. What's the last thing you absolutely had to add to your cart?
Well, it was just last weekend. So like I said, I got a bonus in June from my job, right? And so one of the things that I decided I was going to do with my bonus, besides, the grown-up stuff like pay bills, do things around the house, was I was going to buy myself my very first sets of Korean nail polish. So I got 3 sets in June for myself. And then last week, Sunday, I was just sitting on my phone, I'm like, let's go look at the Sweetie nail supply, Sweetie Supply, nail supply, website. And so I go to Sweetie and I'm all like, oh my, look at the sale on them. So yeah, I bought 3 Korean polish sets. And I will say though, I feel like I got a good deal because with everything out the door, they were still like less than $150 for all 3 of them, but they had them on like one of them was 50% off. So it was Korean polishes, I have to say. And I can't wait to show everyone they're beautiful. I gave them a sneak peek last night on the live that Alicia and I did. So, but yeah, that and, the other thing that I had to have, and which as far as I'm concerned, is the most affordable but the best full cover tips are the machining tips. I had to get them in every shape of their extra long length. So that's the affordable thing that and I bought 2 boxes of
I was
each.
just going to ask you that. That was the next question. Any underrated brands or hidden gems that
Those
you'd recommend to the rest of us nail addicts?
I'm telling you, the machine, they're $3 and like $3.50 a box. And they are the best ones out there, in my opinion, right now. I use them all the time.
So when you're planning your nails, do you go with the creative flow, or are you one of these planners with the drawings and the
You know, I wish, because here's the thing, I wish I could be a planner with them, because I will sit down and I will draw up a set of nails and I'll be like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I've got this and everything like that. And then I sit down and start doing them and I completely go take a right. Completely. I'll be like, I'll start with a plan and it never ends up like the plan because I'm always like, oh, wait, let's add this. Let's try this. What about this? So I wish I could be a planner who would stick to the plan because I have like a million ideas for nails that I want to do. And then I sit down and I'm like, well, what about this? And what about, and it makes it hard sometimes.
what's the one nail technique you found really tricky to master?
Cat eye.
Tell me about
Cat
it.
eye, cat eye. Oh my gosh. And I love it. I'm obsessed with it. There's so many beautiful cat eye polishes right now, right? So many beautiful ones. And I watched one little thing that Alicia had shown us on a live, some live she was doing. Oh, I think it was her very first live. She and Stacy did like a 4-hour live for their very first one. And she's like, you do this and you do this. And I'm like, literally just watching that few minutes, my cat eyes have looked a million times better, but they still, I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, they all look alike to me. Like the pattern I get always is the exact same pattern on each nail. And I want to be able to get like different patterns. Like if you see the nails that Alicia was working on last night, when you see them, I want to learn how to do that. I want my cat eyes to do that. And they don't. They don't at all. I know,
Fingers
right?
crossed I'm going to learn some tricks. I just, really, I want to be able to do a heart.
Right?
And I've got every single magnet gadget you can imagine because I can't get any of them to work. So I keep thinking, well, I'll have this one then and see if this one works. And I really can't. All I seem to get is a fuzzy line across, and that's it. And then you
Yeah.
look at everybody else's and they're stunning. So I'm looking forward to that lesson. Is there a challenge or a collab you've done that really pushed your skills or taught you something new?
I would say so the Ducket challenge that Stacy and Alicia and Nicola they did the Ducket challenge and that one for me, I felt like I tried new things there that I hadn't tried before because I had never made an aquarium nail before. And I was talking to Stacy and she's like, you should try an aquarium nail. And I'm like, oh yeah, right. I don't think so. I'm like, I'll watch a video. She's like, they're not that hard. They're not that hard. So that one, so because I did a Ducket, I did an aquarium nail and I did some 3D on that one and like some fine painting. So that one for me was like, I was like, I had an idea in my head too, and it actually came out like my idea. So I was fully impressed about that because I stuck to it. And I'm like, so that one, I'm proud of how that one came out.
What advice would you give someone just starting out with DIY nail art?
The first thing I would say is to realize if you're just starting out, you need some basic understanding and knowledge that these are chemicals and you have to be careful with them on your skin. There's so many horror stories that we hear about people developing allergies and things like that. So that would be my biggest fear would be not to be able to do this, right? So that would be the first thing, is to get yourself a basic knowledge of, just an understanding of, you need to make sure to be careful about, monomers and things like that if you're doing acrylics, and what is a good brand and what is not a good brand to be working with. Because, sometimes you can buy brands off of, like, if you were to buy something off of eBay or who, and it could be horrible. And you just want to make sure that you use products that are safer for you. But the other thing I would say is, don't be afraid to fail. You learn from your failures. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, I'm going to take this nail and try something new, and it's going to come out exactly perfect the first time. And if they do, I'm hazarding to say that they're lying to you, because nothing ever comes out perfect the first time. Let's be truthful, right? Nothing ever comes out perfect. So don't be afraid to fail. And then also be aware you do not need to own every product that you see. That's the thing that I think that we all go crazy with. Eventually, I'm like, but when you first start out, you're like, I need all of those rhinestones. I need all of these polishes. I need all of these. And I will be honest with you. I have things that I bought when I first started doing my own nails I have yet to use, because I have so many things. And so that's what I would say. I would say, as much as it is very hard to do, and I understand, try to be a little bit more slower on the things that you purchase, because you'll find that, first of all, a bottle of nail polish will last you ages, and I'm buttoned up at 1,000 bottles now. So that would be the thing I say. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't think that you have to purchase everything you see, and get a little basic knowledge on safety.
Mm.
Those would be the three things I say.
What will you be showing me today on polishup? And why did you pick this skill or design?
We are going to talk about alcohol ink. And the reason I like alcohol ink is because there's no failing with alcohol ink, because you can it's a trust the process in the fact that it's a very abstract type of design. So I don't feel like you can go wrong with it. I feel like you get a really pretty bang for your buck at the end, and people don't realize how easy it is to do. What I like about alcohol inks, and what an alcohol ink is just an ink that is a alcohol base. So when that alcohol evaporates, it leaves that very vibrant ink color, right? And then it almost looks like you're staining the nail. Well, what we want to be able to do, though, is we also want to be able to move that around on a nail. So alcohol ink is great for doing like marbling. If you want to do like some very Asian looking abstract, like, art. I've done like cherry blossoms with alcohol ink before and things like that. So what is fun about alcohol ink is I feel like it's one of those things that there's no wrong way to do it. The thing you need to have with alcohol ink is you need to have, I use both alcohol and acetone. You need a brush, a couple of different brushes, because we're going to move the alcohol ink around on the nail. And then you need to have some alcohol inks that you like. Honestly, with alcohol ink, I feel like there's a lot of different brands out there. I have used some that I got from Amazon, used them for years, and then started finding some ones on AliExpress and things like that. So like I have this brand, which I don't know how to pronounce that, I'll be honest. I got this one from, and so that is a collection of, I think there's of those. And then I had to get this collection because it's Shay, and we know I love my Shay. But what is different about this one, and I hadn't seen this before, are these are pastel alcohol inks. And I had not seen pastel alcohol inks before, so I had to buy those. The thing you need to understand with alcohol ink is matte top coat is going to be your best friend. So you can really have any kind of a base at all on your alcohol inks, right? So whatever color you want to use, you can use. I tend to use like lighter colors, like a nude, a white, a pinks, anything that are lighter, because the lighter the color, the more vibrant your alcohol inks are going to look on it, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I sort of like look at mine. You can do the same thing that we're going to do with alcohol inks. You can do with Sharpies, just by taking a Sharpie and drawing on a nail and using the same sort of technique. So all I have, what we do to start with an alcohol ink is you need to start on a matte base. So whatever color you're going to put down, right? So I chose white for all three of my nails. I did 2 coats of white just to give myself a nice base to start on. And then I did a very fine, but made sure that it covered completely coat of matte top coat. Because the other thing with alcohol ink, it is a layering process. And between each color of alcohol ink you use, you're going to you're going to top that with matte top coat. And we're going to keep layering each one of them. You can add foils to it to make it more of a marble look with like some metal foils, metallic looking foils, all of those kind of things. But we're going to start with just playing with this first nail and the alcohol ink and just kind of getting an idea of how to move it around and how to use it. You can choose whatever color you want. I will tell you, if you have alcohol inks that have any kind of like a metallic in them, these do not. But if you do, let me see if I have one that I can kind of show you. So you see how this has like the little, it looks brown, but it's got purple on the bottom. You need to make sure you mix those kind of alcohol inks really, really well. And then you'll see that the shimmer like kind of like move around in the alcohol. So every time you get ready to use an alcohol ink like that, you have to mix it up before you use it, because if not, you're not going to get that shimmer in it. So what color do you want to use? Do you want to just go with a color and grab one, or do you want to try to do the same kind of thing? What do you want to do?
Well, I've got the Sage.
Ooh, you do. Let's use the same ones then. I will put this to the side and I will grab those shaders. They're so pretty, aren't they?
Yeah. Do you know, I bought them because I like the bottles.
They're beautiful. That's what caught my attention, I'll be honest. When I
And I
first
didn't
saw them, I
really
was
know
like,
what
oh,
they were.
pretty.
And
I
even when
think
you
that
said
is,
to me about getting them, I didn't realize that I'd got them. And you
oh,
sent me that link. So then I went on and it wasn't on our Amazon.
I was
So I
worried about
thought,
that.
and then it came up with all these blooming liquid ones. And I thought, I've got them. So I didn't have to spend
That's
any more
awesome.
money.
That's the best. Because honestly, I mean, and they last you forever, forever. You will never have to buy another bottle of this stuff unless you either spill it or leave the lid off, because it will dry out then. And if it does dry out, I have not tried this, but Stacy says if you just put some more alcohol in it, it will rehydrate it and you can start using them again. The one thing you have to be aware of and think about when you're using your alcohol inks is if you use too many colors at once, they're going to get muddy, right? So
Okay.
we're layering. So you want to make sure that when you're doing it, don't go, oh my God, I need to use every color. And technically, I mean, yeah, you can use every color if you want to. You just have to make sure that when you do it, you do them in layers and you're not layering them right on top of each other, because it's going to end up looking like a muddy mess if you do. So I am just mixing these all up right now, giving them a good shake, because we've got a gold and a silver in there. So just a good shake on all of them first. And then if it was, I mean, I tend to go towards purples, pinks, and blues always first because they're my favorite colors. So I'm going to grab this purple. You can grab whatever color you want, but I'm going to grab this purple. If I can get it to open for me. There we go. Use gloves, even though the alcohol ink is, I mean, it's ink and an alcohol base, right? It will stain so badly. So use some gloves. And I'm famous for spilling things. So I will just be, my one tip would make sure you have a lot of paper towels around, because when you spill a polish, if you grab it quick enough, you're not going to spill a lot, right? These alcohol inks are going to go everywhere. So you're going to take it. We've mixed it up really good, right? It's got a nice thin brush on it
Hang on a
already.
minute.
And I am
I'm
okay.
just getting my gloves.
And I'd say to anybody buying alcohol inks, make sure you buy the ones that have the little metal ball in them. So when you go to mix them up, they mix up easier.
Okay. So I'm gloved up.
All righty. Okay. So like I said, the first thing I would do, I just grab whatever color. I'm going to start with my base color, and I'm just going to kind of go around and put it on in just a very, like, not, there's no rhyme or reason to the pattern I'm putting on. I'm just kind of like slapping it on the nail, if you see.
Okay.
So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a brush, right? And I'm going to dab it in. So it's just a clean gel brush. That's all I'm using is a clean gel brush. I'm going to dab it in to my acetone. I'm going to like tap it off so a little bit of the acetone comes off, right? And then I'm just going to go around and move it on the edge of our ink. Because what we're trying to get it to do is we just want to move it around, kind of soften it up. Now, the reason I say alcohol and acetone is because depending on the one, some of them move better with alcohol, some of them move better with acetone. These Shege, I can tell you from doing it just now, they move better with alcohol. So I'm going to like literally push my acetone out of the way and just stick with my alcohol, because when I first started rubbing the edges with the acetone, it didn't want to move. But look, I'm going in here with just alcohol on this brush, and it's absolutely doing what I want. It's softening it up. You'll see that it kind of gives it kind of that look where it almost looks like a blooming effect to it. So you'll have that hard line on one side, the sharp line, like when we do a marble, like if you think about marble, right? So when you look at a marble, piece of marble, there's those the veins that go through it. On one side of the vein, it's always a very sharp side, right? It's very sharp on one side. And then the other side of that vein, it kind of like, it softens up, it moves around a little bit. So that's what I always think about when I'm doing a marble nail with alcohol ink. Whenever I put the ink down, I'm always making sure that I'm only going to one side of it so that I have that nice, crisp, sharp line on the other side. And like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like, I kind of like how that looks. So I've got 2 lines that I've done with purple. I've kind of pushed them out a little bit, used the alcohol to blend it. So we've got purple and pink now, all out of that one color. And I feel like they stand out so much better on, like I said, a really light colored nail. Once I'm happy with where those are for the first layer, I let everything dry all the way till all the alcohol has dried. It'll have just a little bit of a shine to it, but you'll be able to see the alcohol drying, because we want to wait till that alcohol is all dry before we put our matte top coat on.
Okay.
I use just, I try to find a thinner matte top coat when I do these, because you have to be you want a very delicate light touch when you're putting on your matte top coat. Because if you push too hard on it, what's going to happen is it's going to smear the alcohol ink. So I just try to be very delicate when I'm doing it. So I kind of like try to float it over. I'm very slow going over the ink part of it because I don't want to smear what I've just done. So that's why I say that a thinner matte top coat is ideal, because we're doing multiple layers of it on these nails. Okay. You want to make sure that you cover it all, but you don't want it to be super thick. So I'm trying to go through with my brush and just take a little of that matte off of where there isn't ink. Because it is definitely going to be a thicker nail if we're not careful. All right.
Okay.
I let my matte top coat sit for a second before I put it in the lamp, because I feel like matte top coat, you can get those streaks in it. You know what I mean? When you put it in the lamp too quickly. Now, eventually this is going to have a shiny top coat on it. But like I said, with the matte, I just like to let it sit for just a sec. Okay. All right. So when you do that, you only need 30 seconds in the lamp. You're not doing like a full 60-second cure or anything like that. It is 30 seconds. So it mats up and we can go on to our next color. What color do you want to use after our purple?
Can we go with the green?
Sure. Which green? There's a tealy green and then there's like a
the tealy
greeny green. The tealy one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. I'm just shaking it up really well. And then I'm just going to, now this is a very bright green, so I'm going to be careful where I put it, making sure that I'm not going to go really hard over my purple, right? I probably will get some over my purple, but again, I'm trying to make sure that I don't get it too muddy. So I'm always worried about having a muddy mess on a nail.
Okay.
And
So it's
I
okay
feel
over
like
where we
you can put just, I would
over the
say if you're going to
picture,
put,
just not on the
yeah,
lines.
absolutely. Right. You want, well, and eventually, because you're going to be able to still see it. It's just, you don't want to keep layering colors on top of each other in the exact same spot, because they will start to, you won't see the things underneath eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing I like to do with alcohol ink is if you start to do like a little scrub on one side, right? And you're scrubbing back and forth, scrub, 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 scrub. You can take a line that was a thick line that you just put on. And now I have made that a little itty bitty tiny green line up here at the top of the nail, just by you just scrubbing back and forth. So you can manipulate this so much. And that's the thing I like about, it's such an abstract look that you can get, but it gives you such a bang, and it's not hard to do. The more you play with it, the more fun you have with it, the better. But I always stick to only touching one side of my line that I put down. That's the one thing when I do my marbles, I'm only going to touch that one side where I'm at. So like on this one, I'm touching it on this side here, but not on the other side.
Yeah. And do you do the same side of each color?
No, I kind of just go with the flow.
Okay.
So when I'm like on this green one I'm doing, I did the right hand side on part of it and the left hand side on the other. Because of the way I put it, like kind of like a Y shape. And then I did down here go over what I already had. And I'm just rubbing it a little bit because I felt like, because the ink, you'll notice the ink, you can put down a drop of ink and let it just sit there and the alcohol will completely evaporate away. And it's going to give you a very deep, rich color. And then you can start playing with that and manipulating it with your brush. And it's such a pretty like technique and what you get the product afterwards. I just love it. So now like this one, I'm going to add a little bit more to one spot. And I'm going to do it. I'm like kind of tapping it down there because I want to drop like more ink to that one spot because I want it to be really, really green right here. Now, there's what I do sometimes, and not everybody has these. You don't need to buy them. I have a few of them though, these are like the little painting brushes that like they use to do Asian paintings with, right? You've seen those like ink paintings they do. I
Yeah.
will use these sometimes and dip them in because I can get more ink on the brush. And it's more of I'm looking to deposit a larger spot of a larger amount of ink in a spot. So that's when I will use brushes like this because I can put a lot more ink down because it holds a lot more ink. And I'm just layering it literally on top of the ink I already have. So that green I already have there. Because what I want to do is this line, like I felt like I didn't like that one little spot there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that and kind of go another direction with it and make it look more like the marble. And this little brush that I got, I got a set of these. I think I got a set of 5 of them off of Ally, and they were so cheap and they just make it easy to pick up larger amounts of ink. When I do, like if I do where I'm cherry blossoms and things and I'm actually painting with the alcohol ink and I'm trying to get it to look like something, I tend to like use a brush like this because it will hold more ink for me.
Okay. Show me the brush again. I'm just wondering if I've got something similar.
So it's got like, it's more like a filler type brush at the end. So if you have any like a filler brush specifically in a brush set, this is like a thicker filler brush. That's looking gorgeous.
I've got
You can pick up more ink with that. I like to use something that has that's not quite as wide, just because it's
right.
easier to get into smaller spots. That's why I use that one.
What about that one?
Oh yeah, that'll work.
I told you, all the gear, no idea.
But you know what? And it's sometimes it's like it's funny because we won't have exactly what we see somebody use, and you can like, improvise. What do we have that will work? So what I just did was I wasn't paying attention and I put a little bit too much alcohol in one spot that I was rubbing with, and it almost made the green like disappear. So I'm literally just going back in with a little bit more and layering right in this area. And then I'll go back with, whoa, did you see that? I just knocked that over.
Oh,
That's why I'm saying gloves are a mandatory with these. There's some things that I'm like, I'll be careful. I won't need it. Alcohol inks are not one of those. They will stain the hell out of everything and they flow so quickly that you spill one, you're like, oh shit, it's everywhere. All right, let me just clean this up real quick. All right. Okay, I'm gonna let mine dry. Looking, and I think this one has to dry a little bit more because I had a lot of I have a lot of green ink right here on mine, so I have to let it dry for just a sec.
Have you used an ombre
Okay,
brush?
you can absolutely use an ombre brush. You can use any brush that you want to use that you think will get it to move. I mean, that's the fun part about it, is it's like, that's why I say there's no right or wrong way to do it because you can get so many different techniques from just trying different brushes. It's so much, that's why I like it. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got a lot of these sort of double-ended brushes, and it's just that it got an ombre brush on the end, and I thought, oh,
Absolutely. Try
I
it.
wonder what that will
I'm
do.
sure it'll give you, like a feathered out look, which would be really cool. I think the hardest part or the most time consuming part is being very, very careful with your putting your I don't know about you, but I'm used to just like kind of slapping on that top coat because
Yeah.
everything else underneath it is cured. This stuff will move on you, so you have to be careful. Okay. I'm putting mine in for 30 seconds. What color should we use next?
I think I'm going to let you choose because I struggle with knowing what colors to use with what. So,
Okay, well, I personally think that purples and greens and yellows go together well. You just have to be careful with yellows because you start to get that muddy look, right?
right.
I'm going to pull out the gold. I want to add some of the gold right now. Now, when we add this gold, um, it's going to be different than the other alcoholinks because it's an absolute clear base with just like a gold chrome in it. So it's going to give you the gold, but not like you're not going to have like gold lines. It's going to just be like gold sparkle, which is what I'm looking for with this layer because I want it to go over this pink here, the pinky purple that we've got. So I put it on that one side of that pinky purple because I just think that's going to make it look so nice. Close mine up and mix it again because that chrome falls so quickly in the alcohol. I'm going to go here on my green line. And then I personally think we should use, I'm not going to put matte top coat over this because we're actually going to add another color to this layer first. And I'm just deciding what color I want to add. I actually think I want to go in with some more purple because I want some of that more purpley purple, and we've got like some kind of it's sort of pinked out. So I'm going to go in next to where I have the first layer of purple and put the second layer of purple. Because as it goes over that first layer, it's going to kind of darken up some spots. I'm going to completely go rogue and take this purple all the way across the nail at an angle now. Just because I want to. And it's layering on top of layering on top of layering. And it's so the look that you can get and the bang for your buck is just so easy. I mean, you're just drawing, like slapping some ink around and then moving it with your brush. So you get like a bang for your buck that's so simple, and people are like, wow, that looks incredible. And you're like, thanks. It was really hard to do. It took me hours, I swear.
I might have gone a bit mad now.
But that's the fun part about it. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? It's like we keep layering and layering and layering. Like mine has got like, you can see multiple layers like on this side. And then I'm going to add some more to this side because I feel like it needs a little bit more. I am going to put the lid on and screw it closed because I will spill. If I counted the times I've counted, or if I counted on one hand, the times I've spilled, I need like 8 people. Because I swear I'm famous for it. We're just going to keep going back and forth and adding more layers as we go. It's the same thing. The only thing I would say that would be different if you were doing this with, like, if you're using a Sharpie and things like that, I do multiple Sharpies at once. I don't do multiple alcohol inks at once because it's harder to control the alcohol inks. With the Sharpie, you have a lot more control where you're putting it because it's in a pen. You know what I mean? And I'm going to add some more gold. I feel like I need some more gold in mine.
Bobby,
I'm going to put a layer of matte on top of this. I have one. Now, I don't know if your matte top coat ever does this, but every so often I'll get a little piece of matte top coat that has been cured for some reason. And it's like a little lump in the matte top coat. I'm like, what the hell? It's annoying.
I get sometimes
All right,
where
so
it picks up the polish.
Oh gosh.
for some reason.
Matte will
But when I did
like
the white
reds
one,
and blacks, like dark colors with matte top coat. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying.
but when I did those whites earlier, it had picked up the white. It seems to be black and white with me that it picks up. But perhaps I just need to remember to cure those ones for a bit longer.
You know, I feel like some of the really, really red polishes and some of the really, really black polishes, no matter how long you cure them, they still will smear when you put the top coats on. I just grabbed some blue, the light blue one, and I mixed it up, and I'm kind of adding it here to the top where our green is because I want to add a little bit of the dimension to the green. So I'm going to add some blue to it
Yeah.
and then move it around with my brush. And I'm just kind of tapping the blue in certain areas by that green because I think it makes the green pop. And it will look nice next to the purple and the pink that we kind of have there already. With my blue, tapping it more to kind of like flood it almost is the kind of the way I say it because I'm not doing the scrubbing where I'm getting that like fine line. I want it to kind of put a very light blue haze in some spots.
Right.
And then I'm going to come and I'm going to add it to the sides over here where we've got that really, really light pink.
So the blue.
Mm-hmm. I'm using the blue more instead of, like I said, like those sharp lines like we did initially. This is
Yeah.
to just kind of give it a little bit of a blue shade and tone in some spots because I just think blue goes so nicely with the green and pinks and purples.
Okay.
The way I do alcohol inks too is more of like I kind of play with them and keep going and keep going and keep going until I get what I like. You know, you'll get to a point where you're like, oh my God, it's perfect. I love it that way. And that's when you stop because it's a matter of just layering until you get that perfect mix that you like. Like I'm getting to the point where I'm like, ooh, I'm liking how it's looking. It's layering nice. We're just building on the colors we already have there. If you ever feel like it's too heavy in one spot, and you don't like how that looks, just scrub it with your brush and alcohol, and you can most likely get most of it off. And I mean, there are a lot of people who do their marbles and they try to make them look very realistic. I'll be honest, I like pretty girly colors. So most of my marbles are very girly colored looking. I like most of my marbles are there's lots of pinks and purples and blues and like greens. I always do go in. So you'll notice we have a white. I always go in with the white and I literally just kind of throw it on over stuff. And I'm going to, because it is going to kind of make some spots almost where it sits and the alcohol like goes away.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So did you say
You know
you'd
what I
use
mean?
this?
Like, yeah, I used some of that. Yes. I just thought it would be a good accent. Call it zhuzhing. I feel like we just have you keep zhuzhing until you get what you like.
How do you know when to stop?
I feel like that is my hardest thing, to be honest with you. That's something I struggle with. So Stacy gave me the best advice one time. She said, if you're starting to get to the point where you're wondering, is it time to stop? It's time to stop.
Okay.
Because, we all do that. Well, what about if I do this one more little thing? And I tend to be one of those ones where I'll be like, well, let's try this one little last thing. And then I'll be like, crap, I've ruined that mix I had, or I've ruined it. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I'm trying to be better about going, okay. Like I feel like this is I want to put some bright sparkle in this, and then I feel like I'm almost to that point. Actually, I need to fix this. See, here I go. I'm like, I just want this one line right here to kind of soften up a little. And then, okay. So now I'm going to top coat it. So I like to, with my, when I use alcohol ink, I like to add some glitter and sparkle to like the last, like almost the very last layer. So like right now, this is in the lamp, it's coming out. And so this is where I'm currently sitting at, right? So I've got lots of pinks, of blues and greens. And then I'm going to take my gold. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, do I want to add any more ink? And I actually think I might want to add a little bit more of this green down here, because the green I had down here, I kind of pushed it away so you can't really see it that much. So I feel like it needs a little bit more green to tie it all in together.
Right.
So I kind of laid it on nice and heavy there, but I'm not going to leave it that way, obviously.
So I think I'm probably done.
Okay, if you're done, what I do is with that gold or whatever color, if you have silver, gold, whatever you're going to use,
Yeah.
you're going to draw on the edge of one of your lines that you have already with your alcohol ink. So you know how like we made sharp edges, like one side is sharp, one side is more muted and brushed out.
Yep. Yep.
So the side that is the sharp side, you're going to go down very, very carefully, very close to it on that sharp side and add some sparkle, right? So like I'm going to go around this green here and I'm going to add a little bit to it right around here on this green. And I feel like this is what really makes your alcohol ink designs just kind of go wow, is when you add that little bit of sparkle and glitter towards the very end. Do you know what I mean? So you can really see it. You don't have to put a lot in, and you're just kind of sort of accenting different areas on the nail that you want to accent. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think so.
I need to take the specs off for this one because I need to get a little closer, see what I'm doing. So I try to find specific lines that I like. And then I kind of just sort of go along part of that line, not the whole length of the line. Because if we think about marble, when you look at marble, it's got like that sparkle in it and stuff, but it's not everywhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it when I do them, is I'm just sort of highlighting and accenting certain parts of the nail. And it's all about wiggly too. Nothing is a straight line when we make marbles.
That's good. That's good.
100%. But I think, that whole knowing when to stop thing, I think we all struggle with that, I've
Yeah.
talked to Alicia, I've talked to Stacy and a few other people. And I think it's just one thing that we all go through is it's like we have a lot of things, first of all, right? And you want to use them. But then also like, okay, is it going to look like I want it to look? Trying to get that idea in your head, out of your head, onto the nail. One of the other best things I would say for a beginning person who's doing nail art, if you don't like it, don't cure it. That was a thing for me that took the longest to kind of get through my head, right? Like I kept thinking, well, I put it on the nail. Now I need to cure it. I got to live with what I have. No, you don't. Of course you don't. And it can be difficult. So I try to do like, if I'm doing my own nails, I always try to think of it as like, I'm going to have like most likely 4 out of my 10 nails. I'm going to try to do something on them where it's just like, ooh, what's that? Right. And then I might add a little more after that. But the other ones are going to be more of like my base that I am like, it's my colors that I'm using, or I'm going to switch it up and one hand's going to be pink and one hand's going to be blue, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like to use a thicker top coat because it's going to have some texture to it from all the different layers that we've done and things like that. So I feel like a thicker top coat it encapsulates it all and makes it look real pretty. Oh, that's looking gorgeous. I love it.
Thanks.
Look how pretty. You did such a good job.
Okay.
I love the soft colors. Like I love how soft it looks. So mine is definitely more vibrant than yours, but I tend to do that with lots of stuff.
The top coat done.
Oh, I love it. Let me see, one sec. Where is I don't think there's any way you can do them wrong, I wanted to show you one thing really quick. So my Sharpies are over the other side of the room, but I'm just going to grab this red Sharpie and show you like it'll do the same thing that alcohol ink will. And
Okay.
Sharpies are such vibrant colors. I mean, think about all the cool colors you can get Sharpies in, and it will do the exact same thing. So it's a matter of just going along it. Now
So
with a Sharpie,
you just draw with
you
the Sharpie.
yeah, you
Nail.
literally just draw with the Sharpie on the nail. Just draw where you want it to go. Draw whatever. And that's the thing that's cool about Sharpies too, is because you have more control with the Sharpie, right? Than an alcohol ink. So you can do so much more with them. I feel like in the
And
patterns.
I don't have to layer it this time.
I would with the alcohol, or just like with alcohol ink with Sharpies, you need to put a layer in between.
Okay. Okay. So one color and then just like we
Yep.
did.
One color, matte top coat, and then you go on to your next color.
Right.
Now I'm going to be a little different with this one, and I'm actually going to only use one color for this whole nail, just because I want to see what I can do. So I'm going to use the red Sharpie on this whole nail and see what kind of nail we can get and what kind of look we can get just using the red Sharpie.
Okay.
So like this is my first layer with the red Sharpie. And then I'm going to mat it, and then I'm going to go in with my next one. Now I'm going to be very careful using this matte top coat on red, because red, as we talked about earlier, is one of those colors that I just feel like it smears and all that so easily. So I want this base layer that I'm putting on there to stay nice, the edges to stay nice and crisp. I like how they look right now. Ooh, that's looking wild. Let's see this lady. So when did you start like actually doing nail stuff, like your own nails and things?
Well, when I was younger, I used to do nails, just normal polish, no like no UV or anything. And then that sort of, I stopped. And then when I was really bad with my back, I got to a stage where I was just literally laid on the sofa watching daytime TV and the soaps and really not doing anything. And I tried to, and then thought, actually, I just need to be doing something that I can do from where I'm at that's it's going to help. And I tried, I did some jigsaw puzzles, I did some colouring, and then I remembered that I'd really enjoyed doing nails before.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought myself a Miley starter kit
I love
and,
it.
and then discovered Timu.
Oh, I know. Timu, I swear. Well, what's really funny is I used to buy things off of Timu and never ever thought to check for nail supplies, right? I just never even thought that they would have them for some reason. I don't know why. And oh my God, it was like the heavens opened up. You know what I mean? I'm like, what?
Oh,
They have what there? And, you can get a whole collection of polishes, like 12 polishes for like $30. Excuse me?
yep.
Yeah, so I went a little cray cray when I first found them.
Have you tried the glitter ones from Sharpie?
I haven't, but that would be fun, I think. Now I want to go order some.
Sorry.
So I stuck to only using the red. And what I'm doing is I'm filling in certain spots that I left open with the white with gold. So it makes it look like it's kind of like the gold was underneath it.
Okay.
And then, oh, I got a dog yelling at me. So it's like a really like vibrant, like almost when you like a geode, when
Oh,
you
wow.
like kind of, oh, my mom's calling. When you like start cutting a geo in half, you get that like very like sharp, sparkly line. That's kind of what I've got going on. I'm going to put one little piece of gold on mine and then throw it in the lamp and top coat it.
Okay. There's mine.
Oh, see, and that's what I love about this kind of thing is it's just everybody's style is so unique. You get such fun designs, and there's no wrong way to do it.
Well,
All right, this
I
is
just
going
went
in the
in with
lamp.
all different because I did the Cub Scout thing, Boy Scout thing, and I've got all my different coloured Sharpies out with me. So I just went in with every single green that I've got.
Absolutely. And that's the nice thing because it's going to give it like all that depth because you've got the different greens. So it's going to give it, some dimension. It's going to look beautiful. Ugh. All right. So I am going to top coat this puppy and it is going to be done. All right. So ready? Here it is.
That's fab.
Like, but you like, look at all that. There's some fluorescent pink and orange, and it all came from this one damn red Sharpie.
Yeah, it's
And then I
amazing.
just put in like the gold veining to make it look like it was more like a geode that we cut. So
It's definitely, yeah.
I had so much fun. This was so cool. I love this idea that you're doing, Lorna. It really is just, it's so unique and different. I love it.
Thank you. So thanks very much for that. I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm definitely going to have another play. I've got 3 more nails that are just sitting here, and I'm sort of itching to finish with it, finish the interview and get back to playing. But so for viewers watching us who want to follow your journey, what's coming up next on Nails by Miss T?
So so what I want to do next is I have a couple of different series of nails that I want to start. I have become obsessed with the Korean like style of nail art. So I want to do a series of strictly like geared towards Korean nail arts. I just love like all the charms and like the beads and like the pearls and I just love it all. It's just so girly. I just love that. But then I
That's awesome.
also want to try to do a series of recreating AI nail designs. So
Wow.
I've been on Pinterest and I have about 15 or 20 different ones that I've saved. And I want to try to recreate those and do a series on that because, first of all, I think it would be super challenging, but it's just something different. And so those are both in the works right now.
And finally, love you to the moon and back is your sign off. What keeps your passions for nails shining so bright?
I, you know, part of it is truly our community. I get so excited talking to everyone and seeing their nails and seeing people succeed. That gets me excited, right? So it's not just making the pretty things, but it's the people I've met and the community that we've created together that makes me so excited. Like I'll get a brand new set of polish or I'll find a new like AI picture on Pinterest. And can I tell you, I will 9 times out of 10, I am on my phone sending it to Stacy or Alicia or somebody going, oh my God, look at this. Isn't it amazing? That is what keeps my passion and excitement going because I'm just so excited with all the new people I've met and all the incredible art that I'm seeing. And I mean, come on, I'm talking to you from the UK. If you had asked me a year ago, is someone going to from the UK want to talk to me about nails? I'd have been like, no, why? I mean, that is just, it's so exciting. That keeps me excited.
It's brilliant, isn't it? So, well, thank you ever so much for joining me. I've had a fantastic time, lovely afternoon. I know it's your morning. I'm sure you're getting off to shopping or whatever. So I won't keep you any
Gonna get
longer.
my hair done.
Oh, lovely. Cheers. Anyway, thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. I had a great time. I really appreciate it. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
We filed and failed. We had a laugh, learned some tips and nailed our path. Don't miss the mess, the fun, the climb. Catch us again